let's get into the categories now. So the first ones that you mentioned was brand protection. Now this is probably going to apply to a bigger company. It's got a brand and they care about their brand. Tell us about how they can protect that.
Yeah, so again, it's a huge unfunded liability in your books today.
Mhm.
It's again, back in 1986, I don't think anybody cared about the brand. I mean, they cared about their brand. I mean,
Yeah,
but it was more of the national companies, right? Where you had good consumer confidence in that brand, right?
sure.
And I would argue today the smaller businesses today have more exposure than the big ones. Target got hit with a massive cyber attack.
Hmm.
Um, Hit their PR a little bit. I mean, hit their, the brand protection, their brand a little bit, but, no Targets closed because of it.
Right.
The smaller the business are, and realistically too, most businesses, this the intangible asset that you have, right, is your brand,
Hmm.
the consumer confidence, the contracts, intellectual property you might have, all those types of things will
Hmm.
drive your brand. You're spending a substantial amount of money in content today in order to bring you, it's like trying to find the front page of the phone book now, right? You got to pay a
Yeah,
little bit more to get in that front page on the internet. You're spending a lot of money, and unfortunately, it doesn't. It takes years to build up, and it takes literally seconds to destroy. And I've dealt with clients that have had these situations happen. I've had it with restaurateurs where they had foodborne illnesses
mm,
that made the local news. Where those dollars going to come from? Now they might have foodborne illness coverage for loss of income, but where's the PR stuff? Now
hmm,
you got to hire a PR firm. You got to start putting op-eds out. You got to start
hmm.
increasing your content, your digital ads, because you got to build your rapport back up with the
That's right.
consumers. And it's across the board industries. I mean, I've had it with CPA firms where they've gotten cyber breached. I've had it where, unfortunately, somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do. It was an illegal act, but they were the leader of the company,
Mm.
and it tarnished their brand. I mean, it happens all the time. Unfortunately, we all know national stories, but the local
Yeah,
stories are just, it goes
yeah,
on every day. Unfortunately,
yeah.
and
If you
so
hit the leader, then that tarnishes the whole brand of the company.
yeah, and the brand is everything. Most business owners value their brand over their tangible assets, their
Hmm.
buildings, their vehicles, because why it took them so many. I mean, the consumers have a favorable
Yeah,
um,
it's
opinion
consumer
of that
confidence, is
company.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolute consumer confidence, exactly.
yeah,
So those are things that again, and I call it the double negative. So if that happens, you got less people coming through the door now,
hmm,
and your expenses are going up.
right,
That's not the best time to go run to a bank and get a bigger operating loan, right?
exactly.
So now, where are you going to get those dollars from? And that's where an 831B really comes in, and that's risk strategies. SRA stands for Strategic Risk Alternatives,
Hmm.
and that's really what we're doing at that point.